I flung myself face first down onto the carpet, sobbed my heart out, and begged for forgiveness for my greed and how I'd fucked it up.
Grace costs nothing for us, but it costs a lot for God. Philip Yancey found out to have had an 8-year-long affair.
The lying has caused him like hell on earth, would be my guess on that. We ask the questions most churches avoid.
Faith, life, and the grey areas in between.
Welcome back to Filthy Hope.
Reverend sister!
Reverend brother,
Big issue.
what's so amazing about grace?
What's so amazing about grace? So today in this episode, this is Filthy Hope. If you've not tuned in before, we talk about faith with no filter. We go and have conversations about stuff that's real.
The crappy things in life where life hits the road and then we can actually find grace and light and hope on the flip side.
Yeah.
And today is one of those great stories, I'm hoping.
Yeah. And at the time of our recording this podcast, in the Christian news is one of the big authors, well-known author, Philip Yancey, who wrote this book, What's So Amazing About Grace, has been found out to have had an 8-year-long affair. And we don't want to necessarily talk or judge about Philip and what he's done, other than to recognise that that's just part of our brokenness. But there's a great irony that here is a guy who's written about grace, which is unmerited favour from God that doesn't judge us, and yet the church is often a place of judgment and condemnation, and we're seeing a lot of that in Christian media and on Christian social media as well.
Yeah, definitely. I am quite horrified by it in a sense that
Horrified about?
the feedback from Christians in relation to Philip Yancey falling from grace, and yet he was the writer of this incredible book in
And many others, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. When did he author the book? 1997?
1997. In October, I think it came out.
So like we're talking, 29 years ago? And so he's had this incredible writing career, speaking career, and then he commenced an extramarital affair with a married woman who had a husband and a family and has had this affair, and which has brought great shame, obviously, to her family, his family, and the collateral damage would just be exponential at this time in their lives.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing I find interesting, my initial response was, when I read this bit of information, was, oh, wow, I loved that book. That was one of the first Christian books other than the Bible that I'd ever read about this idea of grace, because I was a newish Christian and I was still learning about this from a theology perspective. So it was quite influential in my life. It's a very easy read from my memory. And it really struck a chord for me because I was experiencing shame because of my own life and own story and brokenness. And it gave me great hope that God would redeem me and heal me, and I was going to be okay because Jesus had died for my sins and that whole story of redemption. And this is why he came, to save us.
Yeah.
And then so I'm thinking that I'm reading this story in Christianity Today about Philip Yancey, and my first thought was, oh man, I can't wait to read what he produces next, because that, my friends, is going to be a great read, because that we're going to see, hopefully, some incredible true grace that comes from his experiential knowing about how much Jesus really loves this guy.
But also how much work you need to do.
Yes.
The cost.
Yes. Absolutely the cost.
Grace costs nothing for us, but it cost a lot for God.
Yes.
As you said, Jesus had to die
yes.
for us to fully realise how deeply God loved. Well, that's our Christian theology.
But the pain and suffering that he'll be feeling at the hands of his own actions will be immeasurable. That idea of the shame and the covering up of an affair, the lying, the daily, weekly lying that he's had to do for all these years has caused him like hell on earth, would be my guess on that.
Yeah, maybe not while he was doing it. Who knows? And it's not our place to judge or to speculate about what happened. But the reality is that something's triggered this confession. And I guess the question I think that a lot of people are wrestling with is, in a world of cancel culture, should we cancel reading his book? Should we stop? You can't read his book because he was a broken person. Or is there something more that we need to think about? And I think that's what we're thinking about today
100%.
in our podcast.
Yeah, it's not a slam on Philip Yancey. I'm a big fan. I'm more of a fan now because now I know this guy has an experience of great fall from a great height.
Yeah.
I'm interested in knowing what comes next for him because that's going to be absolutely great reading.
And the reality is that he is just one of many people, many great leaders in the church, and great being popular and famous, but also, we see it in small congregations where the person leading the congregation is being held up and then we find out that they've had an affair or they've got a gambling addiction
or a porn addiction.
We've seen principals of Christian schools dismissed. And
we've seen leaders of churches
just do bad things. I think the issue is what leads us into making those poor choices. And both of us know from personal experience that we've made poor choices in our lives. And John,
don't we all sin?
Yeah.
Philip Yancey has sinned and it becomes public knowledge for everybody to know about, certainly in the Christian circles, to know about and to feel like that they have license to comment on like we're doing today. But don't we all sin?
And I think we need to unpack sin there for a moment because, some people may not, they've heard that term and they may just think it's doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And it's this thing where we pile shame on people because they've done this thing or it's wrong living. But actually the ancient word in Hebrew was to miss the mark.
Yeah.
That we could be so much better and we should be so much better a lot of the time as humans, and yet we fail time and time again to hit that mark of loving. And so where we fall short either through the wrong things that we do, but sometimes it's just failing to even just do the right things that we could do. And I think for a lot of us in the church, maybe we haven't, murdered somebody or, not all of us have had affairs or had addictions that have caused breaking thing, although a lot of us do. And if you're listening, we understand that. It's not an easy thing. But a lot of us in the church go to church every Sunday and and part of the church service is a confession and we say, God, forgive us our sins. But do we ever really think about them?
Yeah.
Do we ever actually go through and face the truth of our reality and do that soul searching of what do we need to change in our lives? And maybe it's not something huge. There'll be moments in our lives where we have great epiphanies of need to turn around.
Yeah.
Repentance is the word, but the actual word in Greek is metanoia, which is a changing of mind, heart, and your being, so that it's a radical shift of the way we are. And we're seeing that with leaders like Philip Yancey, who said, okay, well, I'm stepping back for ministry, which is the right thing to do. I'm going into therapy.
Yep.
I'm trying to
seek healing,
offer honest confession that I've hurt people.
Yeah.
I've acknowledged that, whether it's real or not. It's not for us to judge, but it's at least saying the right words.
Yes.
And that's really important.
He says this, which is absolutely a piece of gold in my opinion. My conduct defied everything that I believe about marriage. It was also totally inconsistent with my faith and my writings and caused deep pain for her husband and both our families.
And that's the truth.
And he's confessed his sin before God and his wife and committed himself to professional counselling and an accountability program.
And stepped back from public leadership.
Yeah. And he says that he's failed morally and spiritually, and he's in great grief over the devastation that he's caused.
Yeah.
I've got such respect for that.
Which is good. I'd
Huge
also
respect.
Hopefully he's got great grief for the people that he's hurt, which it sounds like he does.
Absolutely.
So the question is, can we still read his books?
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Why
I believe
wouldn't
it
we?
too, because it's not him that's inspiring.
God.
And I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
These people that we look up to, we've sinned.
Yeah.
In a way. You know, we've fallen short because we've looked at them and not seen them as they're probably as broken as we are, or broken in different ways.
Yeah.
It's God.
Yeah.
God who gave him the words. It's
Correct.
God he was speaking about. It's a truth that still stands. Grace is amazing.
Yeah.
And the stuff that he wrote is still amazing.
Yeah.
Great insight. It's helped lots of people.
And
if he helped them, even though he was a complete, hypocrite at times, although clearly, as you said, he wrote this way before even then, but he's got to have had stuff going on in his life. I know I help lead a church, and I know I'm far from perfect. One of my great spiritual moments is just to know just how imperfect I am. And Jesus in the Bible talks about don't judge other people.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's not for us to pass judgment upon
Right.
Philip Yancey. We can hold each other accountable.
Yes.
But in doing that, we have to face our own truth. And that's
Yeah.
sometimes hard to say.
And
That's a sin.
Correct.
But I'm no better.
That's right. And anything good that we actually do in the line of the ministry work that we do, I tend to think it's not because of us. It's actually because of God. And we've been inspired to do whatever that lovely thing was that we did. And it often catches me by surprise. And I think, I'm just secretly, I'm not that clever to have made that up.
Yeah.
God gave me that thing because I'm not that smart.
Yeah, same.
You know,
Same.
it's quite, it's extraordinary.
But there's a danger that we then become caught up in the adulation or the honor given to us, and then we start the stuff of empire, which is power, privilege, pleasure,
and we
position.
go, whoa, bow down, bow down.
And we give an authority, and then that's a temptation. And we've seen churches, and we see it in the world where people are given those things, and it ultimately becomes their undoing because that's a lie. It's a lie that stuff is theirs.
Yeah.
And when we think it's ours, then we feel entitled to do stuff because God must have blessed us. That's some of the language,
Yeah.
Blessed us with this great truth, and therefore it's me that is the thing. But, the Apostle Paul,
Oh, man.
broken vessel, he says. We're just broken vessels.
Yeah.
And God still uses us. And he was a classic one. He went around killing people. If you don't know that in the Bible, Paul was someone who saw Christians and he said, well, they don't believe the right things.
Yeah.
Therefore, they need to be persecuted.
He went
held
on
accountable
and
judged.
Yeah. You'd go on Christian hunts to kill them.
We don't know if he actually threw stones, but we've got a story where he stood by and held the coats of those who did, and that doesn't make him any less. And there's an amazing story where he's walking along and he gets blinded by the light of God in the person of Jesus.
Experiential. There
and
we
says,
go.
why are you persecuting me? And he says, I don't know you. Who are you? And how am I persecuting you? And says, you're doing it when you don't see. You don't see it. So he's literally blinded.
Yeah, for
and
3 days. It was a cool
story. He has
story.
to go and talk to somebody who is going to go and arrest and kill, potentially.
Who was shit scared of him.
Yeah. And that person then is the means of his healing and this humility. And I think that's the key thing when we face the reality that we are humble and broken and anything, as you said,
Yes.
or Leonard Cohen wrote that lovely song, that has it's through the cracks that the light shines through. It's our brokenness that lets God's light shine through sometimes.
Yep. And Paul went on to be an incredible person in the Bible.
Well, he did amazing things, but he always stayed humble.
Yeah.
He comes across a bit arrogant, I think, in English. But when you look at him, he was in prison. He went through so much stuff.
Yep.
And he never complained. He just said, well, perhaps I deserve that, but I'm still going to give thanks to God. It was the hope and grace, even when things were turning bad.
Yeah.
Not just in the good times.
He had a massive filthy hope story. He'd be great on this podcast.
Yeah. And people like Moses in the Hebrew Bible, the Jewish scriptures he was a murderer.
Yeah, dodgy as.
And, he gets to lead the people.
And
But in the end, God still says you're still not getting the prize because you're still part of the generation, the wicked generation that had to walk around the desert for 40 years. I don't know that that's how I understand God these days. I think we get a different revelation in Jesus. But grace isn't free in the sense that it is from God. We get forgiven. There's nothing we can do that stops God loving us. But it still comes with the truth that we have to face at some time.
Yeah.
And
correct.
And facing that truth whenever it happens in our life and repeatedly, because again, we talk about redemption. We're not redeemed once. Jesus just didn't die on the cross and that saved us from our sins. We keep sinning and we keep falling short. We keep stuffing up. We keep hurting people. Yeah. We damage ourselves. We damage other people. Our relationships are never as good as they should be.
Correct. And
God says, but you're more than that.
Yeah.
And if you could only see that and grab hold of that, then that would be better.
I had an experience. I'd been saved and I'd been a Christian for quite a number of years, but I had a real greed issue and I was really in love with money and things and houses and things that money could buy. And I had quite a successful business and I was really just loving the lifestyle that could bring and almost worshipping money greater than God. But I was still working heavily in the church. I wasn't a minister at that stage, but I was doing lots of ministry work in my church at the time and loved it and loved God intensely. And I had this absolute revelatory moment in this mansion home that we'd moved into that I thought was my dream home. And I had this huge repentance moment that God kind of smashed me around in a sense. It's in my story where I'd got home from teaching a spin class early in the morning. I'm having a coffee from my very bougie in-the-wall coffee machine, which was a really fancy thing in the day. And I'm looking out over the sandstone around the bougie bloody pool. And I was as miserable and as lonely with all the money and all the stuff in this home.
Yeah.
And God said these powerful words to me that changed my life: corporate prison chaplaincy, shape, mold, 3 years.
Yeah.
And I kind of went, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And I went on an exploration of what that meant to discern. But in that story, I had to repent in such a way. I just, once I realized what God was doing and where God was calling me, I remember going into what I call the posh room in this home that we didn't sit in because it was too posh, where all the antiques were in the tall ceiling and the posho carpet, plush bloody cream carpet. I flung myself face first down onto the carpet in this weird thing that I've never done before, only on Jesus's grave when I was in Jerusalem. It's the last time I've done this. I laid myself down on my guts, face down in the carpet, sobbed my heart out, and begged for forgiveness for my greed.
Yeah.
And how I'd fucked it up.
Yeah.
And got it so wrong.
Yeah.
It was like God just convicted me in a Shazam kind of moment, and I just laid it bare in that moment, sobbed my face into this carpet. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
But
and I can hear the power of that experience
powerful.
And emotion at the moment.
It was powerful because it brought about huge change in me, and I received grace.
Yeah.
And my life, the quick version of that is I ended up in ministry. I ended up at uni studying theology.
But like all things, we still recover from it. We're never healed.
No.
It's not taken away.
No.
The greed still sits there.
I still love my bags.
Yeah, and we never let go, and we still got to keep doing it. And I think that's the danger when we set people up as super special.
And hold them
holy,
on a pedestal, right?
And then when they fail, then it's this either or. They're either saints or sinners.
Right.
But the reality is we're always both.
Yeah.
We are the saints who sin.
Yeah.
And God is constantly trying to get us to see the areas in our life that just need to get transformed. Like your story. My story, and I've shared it in a different podcast on this channel, was looking into the eyes of God. I had this vision and when I saw myself and I saw just everything, all the consequences of my actions.
Yep.
Some are good, but most are not. You know, there are children dying because I buy gadgets.
Yeah, right. Wow.
And I could be saving them. There's stuff I do in my life that's just not helpful to anyone. But through that, then there's the grace part. What's so amazing is I then saw my potential in the eyes of Jesus, and that Jesus wasn't focused on the bad stuff. That was a truth that I needed to see.
Yep.
But then also, as Jesus looked through and saw my potential, I needed to see that's who I could be if I could let this stuff go.
And did you?
I'm still doing it because we're always recovering.
Of course.
We're always being healed. We're always being redeemed. It's never I've been redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. I am being redeemed.
It's ongoing.
It's ongoing. It's a constant transformation. And I think Paul writes, I can't quote it to you, have to look it up in the Bible, but it says, the more I know about God's love and the more I journey closer to God, the more I see that I've got to change.
I know.
And that I don't know.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
So grace is amazing. It's it's the hope of humanity.
Yep.
That nothing we do is written in the Bible. Again, I think by Paul, he's a bit of a hero tonight on the channel. Nothing we can do separates us from the love of God. And we're not here to judge each other, but to walk as fellow broken people.
Yes.
There are times when we need to hold each other accountable or ask to be held accountable, like Philip Yancey is saying.
Yeah, he's holding himself accountable.
He is, but he's also hooking into a therapist and his wife and saying,
she's a saint.
She is a saint.
She's a saint.
But, she's also probably a sinner because she's probably a person.
Yeah, we all are.
And that's not to justify his actions. That never justifies it. She's clearly a victim in this situation because there's always victims when we get caught up in power and privilege and pleasure and chase these things and think that they're our due.
Right.
That we've owned them.
Yeah,
we've earned
right.
God's blessings.
That's right.
That these are our blessings and therefore we're entitled to this when Jesus says, you're not entitled to nothing. It's all God's.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Got to stay
the
grounded
rich person
in
that walks up to Jesus and says, what do I got to do? I've done all the holy stuff. I'm super religious. And Jesus says, sell everything you own.
Yeah,
that's the one thing. Yeah. Follow me. Give to the poor.
Exactly.
And that's hard. So, this Philip Yancey, Bill Hybels, the Hillsong.
Any of the great leaders.
Of great churches
or even,
and pastors. I've had friends and colleagues in ministry who've had to step away for a time because of either personal issues or because they've made an error of judgment. And it's not punishment. I think that's another thing, that it's not our job to punish the likes of Philip Yancey or to pass judgment other than to say what he did was wrong. We judge what he did as being wrong.
Yep.
But then how do we help people continue in their journey? How do we learn from them as they learn from God? And that therefore doesn't invalidate the truth of what they spoke.
Correct. And I can't wait to read, and I hope he writes again, and I hope he speaks again, because if God works in and through his life how God has worked in the past, it's going to be a powerful read.
And through you and me.
Yeah, I'd be a subscriber, let me tell you, Philip Yancey.
and hopefully he gets to that point.
Yeah, I hope so.
And that people have the grace to listen to what he has to say as people recover and are restored. And that's the same, I think, offering, because it's not just famous people, we've got people in prison. You mentioned prison. How do we help people who've come out of a time in prison and have changed, allow them to be that changed person and find in their story that hope that we all find in our story, or we should be finding our brokenness, God's working for good, and that healing and restoration that leads us to wholeness and flourishing. How do we just not judge people? Jesus said, don't judge. If you do, you're going to be judged by the same thing that you judge others. And why are you trying to pull that speck out of somebody else's eye when you've got a whole big log in your own? Yeah. And we don't see that log. And for a lot of us, as you said, we sit comfortably in our churches, and we may not live in our mansions, but compared to the rest of the world, there are people dying. Yeah. And we don't give a stuff, really. No. We might say we do and give a bit of money to charity, but it's off the top. Yeah. We skim off the top what we're able to. And if we look at our spending honestly, most of that spending's on us and our pleasure and power and privilege and comfort. So
100%, John.
We should pray for people like Philip Yancey.
100%.
And as the church, learn from, as you said, give them space to heal.
Yeah, he will.
Hold them accountable to that healing, I think, you know. Certainly strip away any power and privilege and pecuniary, there's another P word, that they're not making money anymore from that. But wouldn't it be great if he wrote a really popular book, as you said, when we were off camera? Yes. And he made millions out of it, but all that millions went to charity. Yeah. Or to marriage counselling or something like
thing,
that.
I know.
That
built a great...
still gets a small living that he needs because his wife still needs to be able to live. She shouldn't be punished because he's done this horrible thing.
I can't wait to watch and see what happens. I'm expecting something great will come from that story. That's my prayer anyway.
So our hope is always in God. Yeah. It's never in the person. And the person will always fail us. And we need to expect and understand that. Just as we will always fail and fall short.
100%. Yeah.
But yet there's hope. There's this amazing thing called grace. What's so amazing about grace is we don't generate it. It comes from God.
What a great conversation.
Good conversation.
Yeah, thanks for having that with me today.
Yeah, so if you like this, give it a like, please. But yeah, let's stop being judgmental. Let's be more hopeful. And part of that hope is truth, because you can't change unless you recognise the need for change.
Oh, I've got something in my eye.
Oh, have you?
Is it a log?
Is it a tear?
Is it a log? Can you see it?
No, it's a splinter. But I'm not going to try and...
Big bloody log.
I can't see it because of my log.
We're logged up over here.
So, yeah. Thank you for listening. If there's things that you think we should be talking about, please reach out, put it in the comments, send us an email.
Yeah, it'd be great.
But let's be more graceful. Yeah. Let's have more grace.
And I hope this was a hopeful conversation for you.
And that we're by no means judging Philip Yancey or anyone who's fallen
not in a breath
short in a thing. Yeah. But and I don't think we should anyway. Yeah. And those who comment, well, I think we can be better as the church.
We can be better. Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Be well.
See you next time.
See ya. We're really glad you've joined us if you can do all that liking and subscribing, it just helps the algorithm, help other people find what we're talking about. So if you find it useful, do that clicky stuff. Thanks.